All right, so this is EURNZD, and this is the one that I really wanted to talk about. This was the pair that made my whole week. It pretty much finished my week early because there was a lot of movement here, right? With one swoop, this thing went for about 300 pips. So last week there was GJ, GCAD, there was EURNZD for 160 pips, and gold was the one that did the booming move. This week it was EURNZD. EURNZD, it just that's it, man. It just fed, and there was two moves, and the way that they were broken down is important. Now, I'm making this video because I know a lot of you do not watch those update videos, or you barely pay attention when you watch them. You're just looking for the entry point, which is a mistake, okay? And I'm going to say this very clearly. If you cut corners with your approach to the market, okay, we already are cutting major corners for you. By doing an analysis, by giving you the outlook, by telling you the why, the when, the how, by recapping it and all that stuff, we're already helping you understand the things that take people years to understand. Why you're even getting in here, you know, where to look, you know, because when people pick up a chart, they're looking all over the place. We're focusing you in, right, to certain prices, to certain directions, looking for certain breaks, making you back off. When it's time to back off, differentiating sloppy from clean. These things are things that only time teaches when you have nobody else to show you. And this is speaking from experience because I had nobody else to show me. So when we look at the market, okay, when we look at the market, it is important to understand why it is we are looking somewhere. We do that in the update videos. But if you don't know what you're doing, and you also don't watch the update videos, and when you sit down, you got about 5 minutes before you're ready to enter the market, it explains why you're not getting anywhere. You're not educating yourself in the moment, and you're also not taking the time to even experience the chart, break it down for yourself to get those educational points, you know, your own time on the chart. So you're not watching the content, and you're not watching the candles for yourself. So how the hell are you supposed to get better at this? I have no idea. Trading is not poker. Trading is not blackjack. And I am about to prove it to you that with actual skill, education, experience, intuition, time-related things that grow as you push and pump the hours into these markets, that you can see these things coming in your mind's eye. Now, there's two moves here. There's move number one and move number two. Two trades that were taken, two entries that were given out perfectly. And they were given out, and even the third one was given out perfectly. It was just too quick for the retest. The retest was too vicious, too quick, and honestly, I just could give a shit at that point about entering anymore. After taking one entry for 300 pips and the other entry for 275. That is a lot of pips. And remember, last week was a lot of pips. At some point, I have to take a moment and take a step back. See, I've been around long enough to know this one very specific thing. If you caught 2,000, honestly, the last 2 weeks for me is like something like 2,100 pips. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not fluffing the numbers. Go back and look at those setups and then mark it up for yourself and measure them things. I am up for the month of February somewhere in the ballpark of 2,100 to 2,200 pips, okay? At some point, I have to start quality controlling and myself taking a step back because guess what? Ego comes into play where I think my shit don't stink as far as me being wrong, and I'll start really getting aggressive, and I can't have that, okay? The other thing is, there are moments where you start to get a little bit of a burnout, right? I'm not seeing things as clearly anymore. I've been too in tune with everything, right? That's 2,100 pips, 2,200 pips. Also, when is enough enough, okay? The trades happen when they happen. There's big movements. At some point, you got to like back off and allow that thing to do something else, okay? And to show you new market. All right, so let's take a look at these two EURNZD moves. And by the way, I've already TP'd one of my entries because this thing has supported all for the end of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday above a breakout price. Let's go to the daily. All right here. So if we look at this thing bullishly, you know, we might start seeing this bullish run coming, right? 61.8, 70.7. We're going to adjust this markup. Okay, so something to pay attention to. something to pay attention to. I will fully TP these entries. Remember, I switch my bias when that daily and the weekly starts screaming at me, right? So yeah, I took this for a lot of pips, and yeah, we gave this thing a smack and a half from up here and here and here and here. We've been ripping EURNZD apart for months now on the bearish side. But what makes me change my bias is that higher frame, okay? And right now, we are supporting over a very key level on this. And if we take it to the weekly, right, there's a lot of support down here, right here, okay? Right there. And this is the higher low off of that support, something to pay attention to going into next week. So how am I going to look to confirm this? If I can get, all right, right there, a trend line hit with the wick close inside a zone, I am buying. If I get another higher low above that 50 level, I am buying. Okay, I'm dropping this and I'm buying, and I'm going to start looking up. Okay, that's something to think about, something I'm throwing at you right now. Right now, the sell, not really that interested. I'm already up. What else am I going to do? Or what else is there to do? Maybe on the retracement, take another sell? Maybe, but not really as interesting as taking the buy right now. Just look at it. Look at it. Right? Look at the reaction off that buy zone. The strong retracement, yes. But look at the freeze right at that level. Got to pay attention to that. So let's look at it now. Now that you know what I'm going to be looking for next week, let's look at how we got these two trades. Let's go back to the group. The group where we give out our educational videos and also our trade ideas and our setups for you guys so that you guys can learn and possibly earn, but more importantly, learn, because learning is what brings the pips to the yard. All right, so let's scroll up all the way up. Scroll, 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 scroll. All right, let's get. This is not enough. Now we activity, right? So we have a low here, we have a high here, we have a high here, we have a low here. There's a lot of mess there, right? This thing is really, really messy. If I look at it on the lower frame, kind of looks like that. Okay, so you want to pay attention to this stuff. You want to pay attention. What I would ideally like to see would be a bounce around to create resistance there to then get continuation. That's why I'm remaining patient. Remaining patient, because this thing right here is garbage. I don't know what the hell this means. This means absolutely nothing. There's really nothing there. It kind of looks like an Atari figure, like from the old school games. I don't know, I just dated myself a little bit, but yeah, there's really nothing there. This is disgusting. Let's look at where the break of the structure is. Okay, so that entry is this one. Let's look at it. H1. All right, H1. It looks like this, right? That was one of the trend lines. That was the one on the top. The other trend line is the one that's no longer here because I took it off, which is that one. Okay? The market was channeling. The market was channeling, right? You were creating one low, two lows. You were creating lower highs, lower lows as well. But the important part was key. The creation of that lower high in a price that mattered to you, right? It was the third lower high. This right here, everything before here was already on screen. All of this is what happened after, okay? And this is why watching these videos are important. You have to see how we got these trades. What were the key parts of this? The key part was recognizing that this was a mess and we needed to stay away for a second. Here's the other key part, that you know that I use a very tight SL. So being accurate is important to me. Not everybody agrees, and as I always say, I could give a shit. Okay, it's not about people agreeing with me. It's about what works for me. And that goes for anybody. What works for you is what works for you. You should give a shit what somebody else thinks, because if it's working, it's working. Now, if it's not working, maybe you should listen and shut the fuck up. So let's look at it, right? We're creating lower highs. We're creating lower lows, right? We're channeling downwards. So we can see the bearishness. We already had an entry here, which I've already TP'd. It's not here anymore. But we were looking for that entry too, okay? We were looking for that next entry of the week. And the market starts creating clean resistance here. You could see the weakness to the upside. It didn't have any more shoot bullishly. So basically, we started resisting, and finally, first entry. Boom. There's your first go. There's your first go. Now, the question became, what now, Gustavo? Okay, we entered that entry 1. We're in profit. What now, man? I want the next entry. So I saw a couple of things, right? I saw that we're creating lower highs. I saw that we're creating even more lower highs. Let's go back to the group. All right, let's get into it. We're going to... Good, everything's great. Now, you see it? This is what's happening right now. Let's look at what I said in the update video. You see that channel? Started to see that forming. You see there's nothing else here? Now let's bring it back to the moving pair. And that's that. Now we don't need this anymore. This becomes a low you need to pay attention to. Right? Now this whole zone is now resistance. The whole thing. So you need to pay attention to what happens there. Remember, cannot forget that this thing is still technically bullish. What else do we see on screen? Sharp eyes. There you go. Boom. That is the other thing that we see on screen. So extend trend line. It would be fantastic if it would extend the trend line. There you go. This is what's up. This is what's happening now. And that's that, okay? So what we're going to be looking for is retesting or break of trend line. That's it. There's nothing else to worry. I'm bearish.
Keeping it
I
simple.
have 2 entries bearish right now. Partial down, partial down. Profit is locked. I'm hanging out now. Now I'm just waiting. What do we get? Do we get trend line break? At the end of the day, what's the target? That support down there. That trend line break, that's those supports down here is another 40 to 60 pips, somewhere in that ballpark.
This is important.
This is the part where you just sit down and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. All right. So I said what I said, and I did what I did. Let's look at it. Here's that trend line. Okay? Here's the trend line. Now, I wanted a retest of the support. Guess what? The market said, no, no, no. We're going to fucking tank the shit out of this. But what was important is, how the hell are we going to get into it? Okay? So we had that trend line. We had this trend line. I have removed the channel lines, right? It wasn't important anymore. I already used it. Now, this was my own version of it with my eyes, but we had 1, 2. Other thing I drew is this was a low, this was a low, this was a low, this was a low, right? The market was somewhere down here when I drew this up like that. All we needed was a retracement. What ended up happening? Little retracement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang. That's it. 2 entries, 500 pips. This thing was really bullish, and then it wasn't. Okay? And then it wasn't. What did we control? What did we do to get into this? Well, it started with something very simple. Patiently waiting for resistance creation within the price that we had chosen due to a proper analysis. That's that. We lowered the frame to the H1 because the H4, it was impossible to see what was going on. You know I like to do that. I know how to use that lower frame. I don't like going lower than the H1, but I know how to use it effectively. And if you know how to use it effectively, it's like any other weapon, right? It could be lethal in the right hands. So we took that H1, bang, bang, boom, took the sell for entry 1. Then it was about, okay, what's next? Now, what mistakes did I avoid? What did I not do? Well, something I didn't do is buy. I didn't just blindly buy. I didn't do that, which is something people love to do, right? What do? They see the break of this high. They see that it's bullish, that retest. They're like, okay, here it is. Here's the buy, man. And then they look at this. They're like, okay, to the high is like, okay, maybe it's this many pips. It's worth it. I'm going to take it. What does Gustavo always tell you? Do not buy on momentum. Do not sell on momentum. It's a sucker's play. Now, what were we looking for? We were looking for the retest of the low that was broken. Very simple Forex 101. It tested that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang. That's it. Game over. Done. Settled. Week. Done. 500 pips between 2 entries. That's a lot of freaking pips. And I know it's not 500, it's closer to 6, but whatever. That's a lot of freaking pips, man, of 2 entries. And all we had to do was take it piece by piece. Again, you do not control the liquidity in the market. You don't control anything other than the accuracy of your entry and your risk and the patience to follow your plan and analysis and bias. There were moments in this market where this thing looked like it was ready to go bullish. But you wait on it and you stick to your plan and your bias, and that's that, right? Once this thing started creating lower highs, it's over. Lower high, lower high, lower high, even more lower highs, right? It's done. Once it respected the floor of the break, it's done. Regardless of it being an H1, it's done. Because let's not forget that we entered this week really, really bearish. Remember how this all started. It started because daily, fib, from high to low. That 50 level respect on that initial sell. So we're using that higher frame understanding of bearishness to continue the path of bearishness to the next target, which is what's looking like a bullish movement. All right, so worth it. And you know that I don't switch my bias like that. But I'm not letting go of a 300, 400 pip movement if I can see it, especially on the direction that I've been impaling EURNZD on as far as bearishly. So I want to make sure this doesn't get lost in the sauce. It's important that you guys understand that these trades, this isn't guessed. Everything is seen ahead of time. It's just something that you've done so many times. You've seen it so many times on so many different charts. And you know, if I want to get fancy, I might throw a friend of mine, I gave him US 30 breakdown, and it worked out perfectly. Trading is trading. Market structure, market mechanics, the way this works, the way it flows, that stuff is true through all trading. So when we look at EURNZD, you could see how these things were played out. Very simple, right? Channel work, trend line work, basic stuff, bearish, lower highs, right? Lower lows, lower highs, bearish, right? Seeing the break of the floor to retest for that second entry. Now, this one's a little aggressive, but you know how I roll? When I see it, and I'm doing it. I don't care about anything. So we're going to do it. And I told you this was what we were looking for. And here's the other crazy part. This is how many hours you had to get into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. 6 hours. How about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours before this thing tanked. Dude. Okay, maybe you don't check the charts on Sunday. What about Monday? What about Tuesday? What about Wednesday? Oh no, I checked it on Thursday. Do you really want to be? Are you really serious about your trading skill and your trading career if you don't check the charts for the first 3 days of the week? Do you think that I check them because for what? For my health? I do it because it's what got me here. The fact that I am that consistent over and over and over every single day, I don't need to be. I don't need to be doing this right now. I don't need to track the market. I'm 2,100 pips up for the month of February. Probably more. I haven't done the math fully. But off the top of my head, it's like 2,100. I don't need to be doing this. But I want to because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me confident. It also allows me to see the moves before they happen. I'm way ahead of the game. I'm not catching up all the time. I'm ahead of it. I already know what's forming. I already know what's coming, right? I see that trend line, right? I see the breaks. I see the critical areas, even when they're not there yet. Even when the market hasn't even reached, we could see it happening because of the time put into these charts over the years, the thousands of hours, and even in this, I like to use this group alone because people have seen me here for this group is 2 years old. I've been coaching for longer than that, but this group is 2 years old, 2 years plus. And no one in here can say that I take days off. I always show up. Whether I'm sick, whether somebody died, whether whatever, my wife, all these different things that have happened over the last 2 years, and I still show up. For what reason? Because I love the game of trading and I take it seriously and it rewards me. It rewards me in pips and profit. For me being consistent and showing love to the game and always being on schedule with my habits, never losing sight of what got me here, which is always putting in my due diligence, right? If you're serious about this game, it requires time. Now, think about this for a second. For me, how much time does it really require? I sat down. I already know everything else because I already marked this up. I've been tracking it. I sit down. What has EURNZD done? I look at it. Oh, I see this. I see this. Okay, I see that break. I see this floor. Okay, cool. This is what we're doing. Okay, I start recording. This is what we're doing. I send out the video. Bye. I walk away. That's it. I place my alerts, I leave. That's it. I'm not sitting here staring at every candle. Literally, what, 30 minutes of work? 30 minutes of work? And then I get another alert, right? The market is retested. All right, I need a 3-4 hour candle start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm gone. Done. I get in, stop losses. Okay, it's retesting trend line, drag stop loss, partial down, like you know I like to do. It leaves. Great. News hits. Everybody's excited. I took more time taking the content out of PipsologyFX, the feedback channel, to post on my Instagram at Gustavo Zaps. Go follow me there if you're not following me. I took longer doing that than doing this. But that's not the reason for that, is because I've been doing this for so long the right way. I know these charts inside and out because I've put in thousands of hours, not 30 days, not 60 days, not 90 days. Right? I've been doing this for a long ass time. And even now, I put in more time than beginners because I love the game. I chart up 12 charts. I make sure I know what's going on these charts. I don't lose track of anything. I don't take days off. It's, you know how you check Instagram? That's how I check the chart. You know how you look at your emails, or you look at your iMessages, or for you Android users, your text messages, or you go on TikTok, or you look at viral videos or memes? That's how I check the charts. It's nothing to me because I've earned that. I've earned that skill in my mind. It's just part of who I am now. It's no longer work. It's just who I am. It's just who I am. For you guys who are starting, you take breaks, you don't want this. You don't want this. This isn't that hard. Especially in the beginning when you're learning. There's no pressure. The pressure is you're putting the pressure. There's no pressure. You're not expected to make money. Do you have pressure like me, who has to put out setups, or like Jonathan, who has to put out daily setups and updates and what are we doing next? And, you know, as soon as this happened, I got a message like, okay, Gustavo, what's next? And this is happening, and this thing is up 300 pips. Gustavo, what's next? Do you have that type of pressure? To be right all the time? To be on point? No. No, there's no pressure there. But you want to be a trader. You want to learn this. Seriously? Okay, put in as much time as I do. Even now, where I'm at in my career, which is in a very good fucking place. Put in that much time, and then I will believe you that you want to be a trader. Put in 5 minutes a day, and I don't fucking believe you. This EURNZD trade, a lot of people took it because of how long it just stood there. So if you missed it because you didn't trade on Monday, you didn't trade on Tuesday, you didn't trade on Wednesday, and then on Thursday while you were on the toilet, you decided, okay, maybe it's time I look at these charts because I haven't really done anything this week when it comes to my trading, but I want to be a trader. I want to be a trader. So while I'm plopping my ass on the toilet, I'm going to go look at these charts. You don't want to be a trader. You don't know what's going on the charts. If this was a business, your cashiers are robbing you. Your merchants are robbing you. You don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know how many customers have walked in through your door. You don't know shit. You need to do your due diligence just like anybody else. And the reason that I am the way I am is because I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how consistent I am. I'm going to show you I don't miss a beat. I'm going to show you that even now in my career, I'm still here because I love the game. And if you don't love the game, it won't love you back. And that's it for EURNZD. That's it for this educational video. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy trading.